Welcome to another edition of California Triathlon Soup. This is our first video edition for those who are watching online and for those who are listening. We've got two folks on today. This is Sean Watkins from Wattie Ink. Hey, Wattie.
How you doing, Tom? How are you? Thanks for having me.
We're having a good time. This is the first episode. We've decided to go visual this year, and you're our first victim. So be careful.
Oh wow. Okay, I will. Thanks for the warning.
Well, we're really excited about spending a little bit of time with you today, and in particular, we after 10 years, California Triathlon started in 2010, and we had used the same kit manufacturer for 10 years, and last year we went through an RFP process with about 24 different different potential partners, and it was pretty much a slam dunk that Wattie Ink would be that partner for us moving forward. So I just want to give you the opportunity to talk about your company, the mission, the goals, and a little bit about the product.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Well, yeah, in terms of the RFP, I mean, we were so excited about winning that RFP. I mean, in terms of the organization that you guys have built, it's just amazing, and for us to get the opportunity to work with you guys is very exciting for us, for sure. Yeah, I mean, in terms of Wattie Ink, I mean, we're a brand built by athletes for athletes. That's what we like to say, and we're a triathlon brand, and we're dedicated to the sport of triathlon, just like you guys are. In terms of where we've been and where we're going, I mean, we started this thing 10 years ago. My wife Heather and I, Heather Jackson, who's a top professional in the sport, for anybody that doesn't know her, with the goal of building a brand that would change the landscape of triathlon, and I feel like we've done that.
Did you start? It sounds like if you're starting a company like that, which is very successful, you started with a lot of money behind you. Is that how that started?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a funny story. Heather and I were both working regular jobs. Heather was a school teacher, teaching U.S. history up in San Jose, California, and I was an ad rep at Triathlete Magazine, selling advertising, selling magazine space. And we both simultaneously quit our jobs. I had this dream in mind of creating a brand. We moved into a studio apartment. We slept on an air mattress. We had phone books stacked up for nightstands. And we started the business with $250 in our pockets. And yeah, 10 years later, here we are.
That's funny. When I met my wife back in 2020, she was teaching government and politics at a high school.
Oh, seriously? Oh, that's so funny. Yeah,
So
Heather was like
similar. So
world history was Heather's teaching genre.
So it's funny. I remember when your product came out, and obviously it's grown and exponentially, and the quality is always there. And what I thought about it was twofold. From a marketing and branding point of view, I looked at the pricing and I said, man, that is more higher end than I was. We're part of a safe, affordable, accessible type of a group. But when you look at the quality, it was like that product that you wanted to have, you wanted to wear, but I'm not sure if I can afford it. But I think you've solved some of those challenges with some new product lines.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we launched 7 years ago with our Contender line, which we had just one grade of clothing, and we came to market with expensive, great quality garments that were made for triathlon or triathletes. And now, since we've developed a line just under that called the Challenger, and the goal behind that was a bit more entry level, a bit more like club fit, club cut for people that are coming in that aren't really sure in terms of how it should fit, how they want it to fit. Maybe they want it to be a bit more comfortable as they're starting their sort of entry into triathlon. Yeah, in terms of the quality though, we've kept the quality consistent with our contender line, but we're able to dip the price a bit for the entry level triathlete.
Yeah, you said folks that maybe more of a club cut for folks that are just coming in, or in my case, folks that really enjoyed all those Christmas cookies.
Yeah, no, for sure, including myself. No, I mean, I don't know. I know that, we were talking before we came on, and like 60% of your members are what you call novice or haven't even done a triathlon before. So, I mean, that's quite exciting for us to be working with that set of people. Those are the people that, Heather and myself get most excited about when we're at the races. They come into the booth and we're talking to them because we all remember doing that first triathlon, and you only get one first and then you're hooked. But it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's funny. I go back to when I transitioned from rugby over to triathlon, and you show up at the first ride or first couple of rides, and I can't even imagine the outfit, but I think a pair of rugby shorts and a cutoff T-shirt, and you just get the looks like, I don't think he's done this before. And I was pretty sure I wasn't going to wear spandex. I'm never going to be that guy that wears spandex. We call it a mammal, right?
Right. Exactly.
Middle-aged man in Lycra. Not going to be that guy. But
right.
Obviously, it's funny. And this is a true story. Last couple months, I'm going on my workouts, and I had, one pair of Wattie shorts, and it just can't get into the washing machine and back out quick enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm going for my run today. I got to wear those shorts. I'm not kidding you. They're fantastic quality, really are.
Oh, thank you. I mean, and that's one of the things behind the quality and the price point being a bit higher. I don't know if I could kind of explain that is, and mainly for the people that are, the beginning set of triathletes, is that the comfort level, it really becomes a factor when you're racing and training. Spending a bit more on that garment is going to make your training and your racing like way more comfortable and efficient for you. And it's hard to explain unless you've worn a garment of less quality and then you put our garment on. But it really does. It dries quickly out of the water, so you're not sagging and getting chafed, and just not riding up on your legs, and just all the things that can happen with garments that are not made as, I don't know, with as much handcrafted efforts that we put into the garment. So it does make a big difference. And that's what we hear from people. We'll have people coming in the booth at Ironman races and whatnot, and they'll try the stuff on and they'll be like, wow, I've never felt anything like this before. And they'll literally buy a speed suit and they'll race the next day in it, and they'll come back and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I've never experienced anything like this. So after, I don't know, 7 years of that, we're pretty confident that what we're doing is in the right direction in terms of comfort and fit.
Yeah, if you had, so let's imagine one of those new athletes is coming on board, and we have our first order with you guys, closes on January 16th, and delivery is March 1. So 6-week delivery is pretty awesome. So just in time for the race season, and then early April and May, we'll have Wattie Ink at all of our early season races, so people can try all that gear on. What are some of the recommendations that you would have in terms of what to buy, the sizing charts, those kind of things, especially for folks that aren't as familiar with the Wattie Ink brand?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As a first-time triathlete, I mean, you definitely are going to need a pair of tri-shorts. That checks the box, and the Challenger tri-short is a really nice short and a good place to start. And then you need a top. So I mean, you can choose to either get a tri-top, which is the traditional, like, kind of old school now tank, but very comfortable, or you can get a sleeved top now, which is also, it's kind of the new thing. It adds some sun protection. I mean, for say a more experienced triathlete, it's got an aerodynamic factor to it. But I mean, I like to think of it as more like a skin protection thing in terms of the sun. But I don't know. I mean, if you knock yourself out a triathlon bottom and a tri top to start out with, you're going to be winning for racing. In terms of training, you can buy a road jersey and pair that with your triathlon bottoms, and you'll be equipped to do whatever you need to do to get to the first race.
So if I show up to the bike ride, right, the weekly bike ride when those get started up again with like the tri top and the arm warmers, is that a good look? I mean, if you say it's good, I think I can say, you know, Wattie said it was good. Is that a good look for me?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I think too, the arm warmer with the tri-top is kind of counterproductive, just because if it's cold enough to wear arm warmers, you probably want to have some sleeves over the top of those shoulders as well to keep yourself warm.
I'm not sure this call can even go on any longer. That's my whole jam. That's my whole jam.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, the tri top, the arm warmers, the tri shorts, and the compression socks is definitely a look. I mean, it'll keep you warm, and it performs quite well. I wouldn't judge, but then again, I'm a cyclist that is involved in triathlon now, so I love triathletes.
I've kind of put that list together. Like I've played that game in my head a number of times. Like one of the questions I got, you know, when these orders just went out was the one piece, the race kit, and we had a joke piece race kit. Like it was just forbidden, right? It just shows too much. I'm joking, but they you know, if you could buy like that mix and match, like in the top and the shorts. You know, that's got way more flexibility if you've got a limited wardrobe. And then if you add that third, fourth, and fifth piece, what is that? It's like, well, for me, it's like the cycling jersey would probably be the third, the arm warmers might be the fourth, maybe a vest would be the fifth. What are your thoughts? This is your life for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of racing, yeah, you covered it. I mean, I think the tri short and the sleeved jersey does give you more options. You're able to get in and out of it more effectively if you have to go to the bathroom during the race, which does happen. And then in terms of like your training gear, I mean, it's all about layering. I mean, in the summertime, you're fine with a jersey and a pair of tri shorts if you choose to do that. I mean, my wife Heather's a top professional athlete and chooses to train in triathlon shorts just because she finds it more comfortable. That's what she's going to race in. The cycling shorts tend to have a little bit thicker chamois, so there is some saddle height consideration with that. But yeah, I mean, a bib short, a cycling jersey, a pair of arm warmers, and then a vest to go over the top of it. It's a layering thing when you have those cool mornings like we have right now. That's going to get you up and out of the door, and you know you're still comfortable. And you can shed that stuff with the cycling jersey. You've got a pair of arm warmers. You can remove them, put them in your back pocket. Same with the vest, rolls up nice and tightly in your back pocket, and you're in a jersey and short once the weather warms up. So yeah, I mean, if you had those items, then you've got everything you need.
Now I'm pretty stubborn, and so like I was 2 years in, 3 years in, and people kept talking about these bib shorts.
Yeah,
and I looked at it, and they're like, they're amazing. They'll change your life. And me personally, I was like, well, it's a short with like some suspenders on it, which by the way is a good look. Just that you walk around the house, just the whole thing. But I wasn't sold, and then I tried them on, and I was like, oh wow, these are amazing. So
yeah.
Tell me why a pair of bib shorts does that for an athlete's body?
Yeah, so there's a number of reasons. I mean, the suspender sort of thing, it really holds the shorts up in place. So you've got the leg gripper at the bottom, which grips the legs, and then as you pull those suspenders up and over, and it really holds the shorts in place. They come up a bit higher over, like, say, the lower tummy, so you know it kind of holds things in and just makes for a comfortable fit. And then the jersey down over the top, over the top of the bib short. I don't know. It just kind of keeps everything in place, and I feel like it's way more comfortable. Like again, at our booths, when we go to various events all over the country, I always try and get people to try them on that have never. And I don't know, they're not for everybody. And it might take some people a little bit of time to kind of get their mind around them. But most people, that we have try on in the booths, really fall in love with them once you kind of give them the instructions or the concept of what they're for, right?
So I guess pro tip is at least try before you decide that you don't need something that nice.
Yeah, exactly. And back to your members that are shopping on their team, on your team store right now, the ones that are familiar with them, obviously, I mean, we make an amazing bib short, and I would highly recommend them. And for maybe those beginners that haven't done a triathlon, and if you're at one of the 4 races that we're going to be at during the first part of the season, we'll surely have the bib shorts in our booth. You should swing by and try a pair on.
Anything else on the product side? Is there anything new you're coming out with this year? Have you noticed any trends relative to the triathlon market and say other market, MTB, or any other trends that are going on?
Well, in terms of trends, I mean, we're always trying to push the envelope in terms of quality and performance. I mean, we've got a top secret speed suit project that we're working on right now that we're calling the Legend Project. It's going to be a top high end for it's a performance-based product that it's going to sell for, it'll be a $600 piece of clothing. But that being said, I mean, it's sort of our, I don't know, I like to call it our $20,000 time trial bike. I mean, it's something we're developing for a professional athlete that's looking to win Kona, or for a top age grouper that's looking to win their age group, or just an age grouper that has qualified for a race, or somebody that just wants to, buy something that's been, that's that high level. So anyway, that's one of the things we're working on. And then we're also getting ready to launch a run line, which we've been working on for like 2 years now. And so I'm pretty excited about that. And that'll be geared towards training, obviously, but, run shorts and run tops and, various layering items that we're going to be launching. And that'll be spring of 2021. So we're pretty excited. And that stuff will also be available on the custom side. So for an organization like you guys, if you choose to, we could, again, knock out some California Tri stuff, and it would be cool to sell to your members. That I think.
But you're not going to. You're not in the near future. I was asked this the other day. I have a mailbag question. So, yeah. But Wattie Ink doesn't say make wetsuits. You're not going to be in the wetsuit business anytime in the near future.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, wetsuits it's a tough market, and you're dealing with neoprene and overseas manufacturing and a lot of things that we're not that privy to. Or the best thing about what we're doing right now is we've got our home base in San Diego, and we're doing all product development there and making stuff in our factories, and we just get more control of the quality and the fit and all the things that we're doing right at this moment. And so, I don't know, our mission and goal and strategy is to grow the business and scale this business methodically. And if we push into new categories like wetsuits, it's going to be way further down the road.
You're a private company, so I don't know how much you could say, but are you is this a 5 million, 25 million, 50 million range? Where do you guys see yourself in terms of competition? Still a smaller player in the middle, getting larger. Like, who do you see as your competition?
Yeah, I mean, we're still a niche brand. Triathlon's a niche sport, obviously. Some of the big players, though, it's interesting, have come in and out of the game. And I think that I don't like to use the word push them out, but I mean, niche brands are coming in like, ourselves and like Ryazon and some of these other triathlon specific brands. And I think, a Pearl Izumi, a big box brand, a Louis Garneau, another big box brand, they've sort of stepped out of triathlon just because, I don't know, if you're not focusing in on it and it's just sort of an afterthought, I think it's really hard to get traction because, I mean, triathletes, I like to use the word endurance athletes. I mean, they have needs, and you need to be an educated company. You need to be dedicated to the sport. And if you're not, I think you're going to lose that battle, and consumers are going to gravitate towards companies like ourselves that are dedicated to the sport, and we're doing research, and we have athletes racing in products, and we have teams and clubs and other people that are, they're out there using the product and loving the product. In terms of size, I would say, I mean, we're growing. We continue to grow, and we're I would say top of the niche brands, but definitely not a big box brand like a Pearl Zumi yet. That is the goal.
Okay. And you've always been really good. I mean, if you're not good to pros, you might have to sleep on the couch. You've always had that connection, and you have a long list of pros that that wear your products. Can you share with the folks on this? All like 10 of them, folks that are listening or watching. Can you share with them? Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Thanks. Speaking of which, say hi to Heather's mom and sister.
Yeah, Diane and Becca and Chris. Hi.
Yeah. So that's at least 15. Can you share with some of the pros that you have that work with you and that you outfit?
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, obviously my wife, Heather Jackson. We're with Andy Potts, who's a old school, like very decorated pro. I love Andy. He's got his own team, the AP Racing. Go Andy. We've got an Australian kid by the name of Sam Appleton, who's a younger up and coming star. He wins a ton of races all over the world. We've got Josh Amberger, who's another Australian kid winning tons of races. We've got Joe Gambles, Smoking Joe, who's now leading towards the end of his career, kind of like Andy, but still racing strong. We've got Rach McBride, who's the super kitty, amazing woman. We've got Sarah Campiano, who's a top American Ironman woman who's currently pregnant, expecting her first child, which is really nice. We've got Jen Annette up in Canada, who has won Ironman Canada and is a really great ambassador for us. We've got Cody Beals, who's another Canadian young up and coming star. He's won Ironman Tremblant 2 times now. And
do you need like a water break going through this list?
Yeah, exactly. I do. And and then we've got Nathan Killam, who's another Canadian up in Canada, a really nice guy. He's a firefighter, splits his time between being a pro triathlete and a firefighter. And then we've got Lauren Brandon, who is the sweetheart out of Utah. She's top swimmer. You'll see her out of the water all the time first, and she's a real pleasure to work with. Yeah. So
do you see for instance, you mentioned Rachel. Do you see her doing okay in the future in triathlon?
Yeah, Rach. Yeah, she goes by Rach now, but yeah, Rach is awesome. She's been around. I mean, she's not a spring chicken anymore, but she has a great following. We love working with her, and she just embodies being a triathlete. And if people aren't familiar, you should go check her out. Rach McBride, you can follow her on Instagram. And then the last person I wanted to mention, which we just started working with him, is Sam Long. He's a new star. He's a 22-year-old out of Boulder, Colorado. He's
quiet, really quiet and reserved.
Very quiet, very conservative. He likes to stir up the pot, actually, and he's very exciting for the sport. I mean, he won Ironman Chattanooga last year in dominating form. And he's a kid that I feel, myself and Heather and the company feel, is going to be our best shot at winning Kona as an American male in the near future. So we've really gotten behind the kid, and he's a great kid out of Boulder, born and raised in Boulder. His dad grew up as a professional bike racer. He's got all the tools he needs and all the support he needs. So he's our newest athlete that we've signed this year in 2021.
You're firmly on the yo train. Do you have to say that a lot?
Yo. Yeah, and we're talking about, I mean, he's dubbed himself the Big Unit. He's quite a big person or man, and we're in talks with him right now to launch a merchandise line, the Big Unit line, and so keep an eye out for that on our website.
Well, he did a great, we've got probably about 5 minutes left in this, but I'd love to connect, Daytona in December. And that was the reference. I know you were there.
Yep.
And you guys had some great athlete performances there. You wanna talk about Daytona and some of your athletes and your thoughts about that? It was um, that day I put it on NBC. I think it was on NBC. Um, some not NBC, but something like that.
Yep.
And I watched the women's race, 100% of that. And then the men's race, the swim, about 2 laps of the bike, went out and got a trail workout in, came back. It was like lap 18 on the bike. So perfect. Watched the run. It was fantastic. So you had a great showing. Your athletes had a great showing in Daytona, and you were there. Can you explain what that experience was like and how some of your athletes did?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, hats off to the PTO and Challenge for pulling that thing off. I mean, during this crazy year, yeah, the race went off well. I mean, they flew in, pretty much every single person that would be contending for Kona, yeah, we felt safe. COVID testing was happening during the race and before the race and all the things, and yeah, our athletes. I mean, we had a great showing there. I mean, on the women's side, had some strong performances. Wasn't what a lot of them wanted. My wife, Heather, I mean, we didn't have the proper preparation for it, but I mean, she came out of the water pretty much last and rode and ran her way into 20th, which was really good. Rach McBride, I think, was not far behind her. I mean, on the men's side, I mean, some of the standouts were certainly Sam Appleton, who was in the mix up front. I think Sam ended up, I don't know, I think it was 6th place or something. And then Big Sam Long, the big unit who we were talking about earlier. I mean, the guy is not a short course guy. He's not a great swimmer. He came out of the water with Lionel Sanders, and him and Lionel proceeded to bike their way to the front of that thing by the time they got off the bike. And then Sam continued to put on a show on the run. I mean, ran his way right up to the front of that race, and he was showboating and getting the crowd going. And, I thought it was awesome. I mean, we had Andy Potts in there, who also had a strong performance. I think he was 20th. We had Cody Beals in there as well in the top 20. And so, I mean, all in all, I mean, I was really happy how our athletes performed. And in terms of the event, I mean, it's going to be cool. They're going to do Challenge Miami coming up here. And I want to say it's March or sometime. And I think the format's cool, using the raceway with a closed environment. It's just a different aspect to triathlon. I think it's cool.
Yeah, well, it was really good TV watching, and I thought that, I don't know, I think everybody I had talked to thought the production was really good, and so it was nice to have in 2020. It was nice to have a big race, because without that race, we really wouldn't have had that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And moving into 2021, I mean, I don't think cross our fingers. Hopefully we're racing sooner than later. But I know we will be racing. And I don't know, we're kind of targeting on, the pro team side. All our pro athletes are kind of looking around May time, maybe towards Ironman Tulsa and those sort of events. The PTO has the Collins Cup that's supposed to happen around that same time frame over in Slovakia. But I think there's a lot of unknowns in Slovakia with U.S. athletes trying to travel overseas. But that being said, we're like super psyched. I mean, we're getting back to some sort of normalcy and back to racing, which is, I mean, really what we all love to do. We've really missed being at the races, seeing all the people we get to see, meeting all the people we get to see, all the camaraderie, everything that happens at the events. When you put your training in, you're doing all these things, and then you get to come to an event and be around people and do the thing that you've trained for. It's really rewarding to be around the events.
Last question I have, this is more just for you. Do you have, with everything going on with the team for 2021, anything relative to the personal training? You've got I don't know, a century ride or a race you're looking forward to, or something? Do you have anything on the calendar you're excited about?
Yeah, I really have taken myself out of competition. I mean, I spent so many years as a cyclist racing, and really, I mean, gosh, I would say 20 some years racing bikes and doing those types of things. I did do 2 triathlons in my entire existence. My first triathlon ever was Ironman Lake Placid, and then I backed that one up with the LA Triathlon the same year. But other than that, I mean, I really look forward to going to the races for Heather and supporting her, and for our elite team and hit squad and supporting them. That's really my role. In terms of my own personal athletic goals, I mean, I ride my bike every day, at least try and run or swim. I just enjoy exercise. So my personal goals is just to continue to take the Wattie time that I do every day for myself, to keep myself fit, and keeps your mind clear, and keeps you happy and keeps you healthy.
Wattie, we've had you on our list. We started the California Triathlon Soup about 3 years ago, and we have had you on our list for 3 years to try to, we should reach out and see if we can get you, because you have such a quality of what you do, but also I think you look at things a little differently than you're not the typical industrialist, we'll put it that way, business person. So we appreciate everything you do, and we're really excited to see you at the races this year.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Tom. It was a pleasure, and yeah, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to everyone who's in the organization that's supporting us, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys at the races as well.
Thanks again. This was a California Triathlon Soup with Wattie.